Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. But turning and looking at his disciples, he rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan, for you are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things." He called the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "If you want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it. For what will it profit them to gain the whole world and forfeit their life? Indeed, what can they give in return for their life? Those who are ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of them the Son of Man will also be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels."
So this is what we're talking about. I wouldn't doubt it was bigger than this. The one that he was placed on. Most likely what they did was when Jesus was forced to go to the hill called Golgotha, more than likely what they did was it had a crossbar like this. And the standing part was already at place, and they tied him, the crossbar, to his shoulders and made him walk like this to that place. And then they attached the crossbar to the standing part, and they then probably tied or nailed his hands and his feet to the cross. So we know it is an ugly and terrible thing. And as I was trying to tell the kids, over the thousands of years since, and even much shorter, earlier than 1,000 years, but almost immediately, this sign of terror was turned into a symbol of hope. So what then does it mean? Jesus said, "Let them deny themselves and to take up their cross and follow me." Well, in many ways, at times, I think people have described or considered the fact that taking up a cross means that one must suffer in order to be like Jesus or follow Jesus. And quite honestly, that is not a very attractive sales pitch. Now, is it? No. I don't know. So is that what we see? That might have been effective at some time, but honestly, that message or that idea is not, this idea of denying oneself, if we're going to say we're going to suffer for Jesus' sake, is actually an advanced understanding of the cross. Jesus didn't lead with this, did he? Do you remember maybe what was one of the earliest things that Jesus might have done? In the book of John, you know what one of the first things he did was? He turned the water into wine. Now that's a lot more attractive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So he didn't lead with the cross, quite honestly. He led with the party. It's an advanced thing to understand the idea of putting or taking up one's cross. I don't personally believe that one must believe that taking up one's cross is about suffering. So, in our life and taking care of ourselves, you know what? Sooner or later, resources are going to become limited. Because it's sort of like having a jar of candy, I keep on wanting more. And I just keep going and going. And sooner or later I just get sick. But some people, or whether it be candy or it be some other thing, or we can actually become addicted to anything whatsoever. And sooner or later it becomes so that it's not enough. It's never enough. And so that supply seems to always be out of reach. So what and why about taking up the cross, denying oneself? It's about finding the time when you realize that there are other people beyond yourself, and maybe even other people beyond your family, and other people beyond your clan, your town. Said, Ken, do you think about going to the ministry? I laughed at him, right? Thinking about myself, I laughed at him. Went to school, did all kinds of things. Failed, didn't do well at all, wasn't happy. Finally, when I said yes, doors open, things went well. But that first year at seminary, oh my gosh, that was crazy. Got deconstructed, I thought what I believed was everything, and then all of a sudden I learned there was so much more. And I was struggling just before Easter. And for me, I had a mystical revelation. I understood somehow why I was going to do this and when. And the time when was then. Because suddenly my eyes were opened. Well, that was for me. That just happened to be that way. Not everyone has that kind of thing. But the why, why would anyone come join us? Look, we've got a good crowd here, right? It's pretty good. Is it good enough? We usually want more, right? Why would anyone join us? Remember what I told you about what Jesus' lead-in was? What was it? Turn the water into wine. There's a song that says, they'll know we are Christians by our love. Well, maybe they'll know we're Christians by the fact that we party and play. Weird, huh? That we're welcoming, that we laugh, that we're no different because the cross is something that we have taken up. But that we know that there is a time for play, and we know that there is a time for service. We know there is a time for ourselves, like this, especially this time. And we know there's a time for others. We have a group going in August to the Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation. We have people going down the street at the Baptist Church to do food. We have people, you, giving finances to help many different services. Denying the self. Let's face it, this is a big cross. I don't expect you to put yourself on this cross. Somebody has already done it for you. Those little crosses I handed out to the kids? Those are probably a lot more appropriate for us. How will we deny ourselves? How will we realize when the party has ended and the time has come to care for others? I hope you're able to live in both those worlds. I hope you do it with passion. I hope you do it with strength. I hope you do it with hope. You are able. What do I say at the beginning of every worship? That you are a unique and a beloved child of God's own creating, not your own. And I believe that you are up to carrying the cross and being the hope of the world. So my friends, may the Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Let us pray.